Ozils to Digby. I feel like this is deja vu. We've seen this before. Digby to Ozils. Ozils back to Digby. Digby back to, guess who? Ozils. Ozils takes it down below. To Guerra. 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 Shot intercepting the pass in the neutral zone. Stennel can't hang on to it. Guggens and Stennel on the near side boards, working it, trying to work that puck. It's under Odessa's body. Over to Ozils. Ozils to Digby. I feel like this is deja vu. We've seen Ozils. Digby to Ozils. Ozils back. Digby. Back to, guess who? Gloves Off, episode number 3. Chad Seward here with noted regional sports humorist and co-host of the Noon to 3, the best rated Noon to 3 program in the free world, Bad Radio, Dan McDowell. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. How's it going? How's the Brahmas?
The Brahmas are doing good. We're trying to scheme and plan and find our way through this whole new sports landscape that we're all living in. How it looks like you've got that's the Dragon Den there behind you, huh?
I am in the Dragon Den. Got a dog sitting over on the couch. I don't know if you can see that. We got some equipment set up here, and yeah, this is where we broadcast from. This is high atop my garage.
I love it. In sunny South Lake. Has there been any direction from Cumulus on when you guys get to go back into the studio, or are you just choosing to stay at home, or how's that working?
I believe they are giving us the option, but if we decided to come back, that would create a little thing because the Hardline is on right after us, and they don't want a show following another show with the same microphones and all that. So I don't know. There's like a giant company-wide. We're beholden to the orders of Atlanta.
I got you. Well,
they own hundreds of stations across the nation, so they're trying to get one rule that everybody follows.
Of course. And for the listener like me at home, I can't tell the difference. I mean, you sound just like you're in the studio. Actually, probably fewer bugs than if you were in the studio, to tell you the truth.
Probably, yeah. And Jake is here with me, so it's great.
Jake.
We see each other.
That's great. So that's a great question that I wanted to ask was how are things going with Jake with the new show?
So you're calling your own question a great question.
Well, that's generally how I roll. You know me by now, Dan.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's a great question. But I can't remember what it was. What is it? How's the new show and stuff? I don't know. You tell me. I feel it's great.
You feel it's great? I think it's great. I think Jake's he's a great fit for the tier 1 status, and you guys seem to work well together. So all good for the listener.
He's a very good dude, hard worker, all that kind of stuff. A little abrasive, a little over the top.
You know, that comes. He's a North Richland Hills native. You know, the Brahmas one day will no doubt put a statue out in front of the arena for not Jack Kemp.
Right. And eventually they'll tear it down because of some kind of thing he did on Twitter.
Yeah.
In trouble for it.
They'll go back and find a tweet from 2015 and tear it down. Well, Dan, you make your living talking about sports. How have you been these past few months with no sports? I mean, I know we have sports back certainly now, but man, you had to be like going crazy there for a while with nothing to really sportsy to talk about.
I thought it was actually fun. Just as a difference, something different to do, you know, kind of test you and everything. It's actually kind of more difficult to manufacture things to talk about that you hope are interesting, because it's easy when Luka hits a game-winning shot after trailing by 21, because you can say, okay, 3 segments on this tomorrow, and you know that's kind of half the show, and finding audio, and I mean that writes itself, you know. But you know, it was a fun little time, but I hope that we don't have to do it again.
Do you find yourself watching games differently with no fans in the stands? I mean, to me, honestly, I hate to say it, but I kind of like the look of the NHL without all the people in the stands and everything. And I probably shouldn't, since I make my living putting people in stands. But
Are you feeling any different with these games now that they're back in the bubbles?
I've oddly assimilated. Baseball seems the weirdest.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's so big of a stadium and it sounds echoey and, the audio doesn't sound great. Basketball, I feel, is the best because it's kind of closed. That gym is kind of tiny, but then they put the virtual fans up on the side, which looks really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I dig it.
And then they kind of darken the lights. If it does go deep, you can't really see, so it all looks right there. And on TV, at least, it looks like I'm watching the same thing. And I agree with you. Hockey is not bad. The way they've tarped over the seats, it doesn't make it look like it's an empty arena. It kind of just makes it look like, a hockey game. And they get all fired up, and I'm fired up on my couch. So it's, I don't really know that it's different.
Well, I mean, and speaking of hockey, the Stars, they're kind of plowing through the Western Conference. I mean, I don't know. You're a hockey guy, Dan. What do you think? Are the Stars the real deal or not?
I'd like to think so, and I'd like to think they've caught a team, who they got a couple of pretty big injuries over there. They lost their starting goalie and their top D man, Colorado has, and it doesn't look like they'll be back for this series. So, that's the way it goes, right? That's called the way it is. The Stars they've lost their top goalie too, if you want to call Ben Bishop their top goalie. And
I mean, it's hard to say right now who the top goalie is there, but
yeah, like if Bishop was healthy today, would you put him in?
I mean, yeah, I would.
Oh, would you? Okay, we were kind of discussing that today, like a hypothetical. Like Hudobin's pretty hot, and he's coming off a really great game. Do you just ride the hot hand here?
You ride the hot hand. That's generally what you do. Now, in our world, in our level of hockey, we typically have one guy that starts Friday and one guy that starts Saturday, and you roll that way through the whole season so they can kind of get equal playing time. But when the hot hand strikes, it's kind of hard to vote against that,
Yeah, and then just if the head coach is worried about being second guessed too.
Which in DFW sports media, the head coaches are never second guessed, right?
No, but hockey probably less, right?
Yeah,
the hockey media is probably a lot cooler than the football media.
I would think so. Well, one of the things that I want to talk to you about was some of the classic bad radio bits. And, I like the fact, one of the things I like about Jake is how he's down to do a bit. Your appearance on the was that the Ducey show where you guys went as the Village People or half of the Village People?
Yeah.
That was a good bit. I mean, Jake went all in on the the kind of Freddie Mercury biker bit. That was jarring to see when y'all first went on the air. I mean, what's been one of your favorite bits over the years?
As far as doing it on the ticket, or
yeah, just on the ticket, or even on Fox, or just anything since you've been to Dallas. What's been one of your favorites?
I guess in retrospect, I really liked when I lost one of our bets. As I've lost many bets over the years. I had to dress as a clown at the Super Bowl, and I had to dress as young Andy Reid at the Super Bowl. But when I lost one of our old bets, was I had to wear a Speedo and sit in a dunk tank and let P1s come and throw the ball at the dunk tank and try and dunk me in the water. And, in retrospect, I think that was one of my favorites because I got to show off my abs.
Right. And everybody wants to see the Dan McDowell abs, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I got to sit in a Speedo like Jerry Falwell.
Ah, very nice.
Jerry Falwell Jr., that is. I believe the new report is he would sit in the Speedo in the corner. So,
well, I one of my favorite bits.
I don't know how much you talk about that on this podcast.
We can talk about whatever we want. I mean, if we want to spend 20 minutes on Jerry Falwell and a Speedo, we can. We might lose the Brahma fan. I don't know. But one of my favorite bits was you and Groobs in the night costumes doing the media for the Stars when you get kicked out of the Predators locker room?
Yes. Barry Trotz, I think.
Yeah, what was the whole genesis of that bit? Because I remember hearing about it the next day and everything, but it wasn't as funny until I saw the YouTube clip of you two guys. I mean, you could have passed for employees at medieval times. You had such great costumes. Tell me
We
about
got the costumes from Medieval Times.
it. Well, that explains it.
Yeah, from a P1 who worked there, hooked us up, one of their managers, and I don't remember what we lost. Again, I'm very bad at gambling, and anything we would bet on, I usually lose. And we just had our charge was to dress as medieval knights and go into the locker room, but only ask hockey questions. We weren't allowed to even reference that we were wearing anything different. So,
and you guys, you made it most of the way in there, and then the one guy was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What are you guys doing?" And I remember you turn around and you just say, "I'm media," like as if he should know that.
Right, and they took down our name and station. They're like, "We're gonna be checking with the Stars on this one." Yeah, we're your flagship station.
Ticket.
But I do remember that day. That was like the first game of the season, and it might have been Dave Tippett was the coach. But do you know Stretch, the PR guy for the Stars?
Yes.
It was his first job. He used to be like just I don't know if he was an intern, but he certainly had been elevated to a higher status that year. And he was now in charge of like the press conference room. And he begged us not to go in and Dave Tippett. Like, he's like, not on my first day, man. Please just don't go in there. This will be terrible for me. So we didn't for Stretch. But we did go to the Predators locker room and got kicked out for asking hockey questions.
I don't even
That's
think
discrimination.
Absolutely. I mean,
I don't know.
on that one, don't you think?
Yeah. We're just wearing some different clothes, and it's sad, but I hope we've moved forward as a country to where we would be allowed to do that today.
You can dress in medieval garb and come in the Brahmas locker room anytime, and no one will say a word to you.
Okay.
Open it.
Have you ever wondered why do they serve Pepsi and use forks in medieval times?
Yeah, I heard Pepsi was around. It's been around since the 1500s, I think.
Oh, that has? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. They had the fork. They just didn't have the spork. That was a much more modern invention, I
I
think.
think they had like the stick. And they ate meat.
They did eat lots of meat. Well, one of the things that you guys have talked about from time to time, kind of periodically on the ticket in general, maybe not necessarily your show, is the mythical Dallas sports Mount Rushmore. If there was such a thing as the Dallas sports Mount Rushmore, where you've got four faces somewhere on a mountain for Dallas sports icons, do you have any idea who your four nominations would be for the Dallas sports Mount Rushmore?
So does it have to be from each franchise? That seems like the way you should do it, right?
That seems like the equal and fair way, but no. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You could have all Rangers if you really wanted to.
See, it's very difficult because you're going to get the old guy telling you that Roger Staubach has to be there.
He's a strong vote for sure.
But then Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls.
He did.
But then Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher.
This is true.
I'm going to have to give it to Emmitt for that.
Give it to Emmitt?
If I have one Dallas Cowboy.
I think this would be controversial. For me, I would go with, how about Jerry?
Give it to Jerry, huh? That's very controversial. But he'd probably pay for it.
That's exactly right. He would probably underwrite the whole deal.
Obviously Dirk, right?
Obviously Dirk. Yeah.
Or Brad Davis. Which one do you think?
I don't know. Rolando Blackman get consideration?
I mean, Brad Davis has his number retired. He must be great. Wait. Let's look at the stats.
Yeah. I think Dirk edges him a little bit.
We did a study on that he has the second worst stats of any retired number in the NBA.
Who's the worst?
Jungle Jim Loskatoff. He played for the Celtics in the 50s, and he was just like a fan favorite, kind of that kind of guy, 8th man off the bench perhaps.
Oh, my God.
Somehow he has his number retired by the Celtics because they retired everyone's number for the Celtics in the 50s. So who do we get? Dirk / Brad Davis.
/ Brad Davis.
Madonna is a layup, right?
Madonna's an easy layup.
Too easy. Although Nico Kapanen would have something to say about that.
I don't know. Bit of a stretch.
Remember Nico Kapanen?
Sergei Zubov with a stogie in his mouth.
would love Sergei Zubov. Not Stogie, cigarette, because I
Yeah.
think we would have one between every period.
Every period. Stunk up that locker room.
And I believe they said it would take about 2 drags. He'd be done with the whole cigarette.
It's the most insane thing ever when you think about how hard you skate out there on the ice, especially at the NHL level. And he's in there powering through Marlboro.
Well, that's
Red.
why you wonder about today's, training and fitness and the eating and all that. Could he have had a 2-3 year longer career if he would have done what they do today?
I don't know.
Hard to say. That's probably like, another 20 million or so. So I guess it's worth it.
I mean, it would be worth it. It's we'll never know. We'll never know. You got a Ranger you'd put on the Mount Rushmore? Nolan? Pudge?
I would have to say Pudge, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
And you could just use his gold statue that he has in his backyard, the gold statue of himself.
Yeah. You just save a little bit of money on the art there.
Yeah. Just carve it right out of that.
Well, Dan, we're going to take a 3-second commercial break to throw a commercial in here from Carvana. This is sponsored. How about that?
That's great.
That is great.
I support commerce.
I love it. So we'll go. Sam will put one in. We'll go 3, 2, 1. And like magic, we're back with Dan.
That was a great sponsor. Everybody should purchase their product.
I believe so. If you're going to purchase a used car, why not go through Carvana? It's the vending machine of automobiles.
That's what I always said. You've always said that, actually. You tell me that every day.
Every time I see you, I'm like, it's the vending machine of automobiles, Dan. You got to go next time
Like
you
enough,
buy
I know.
a used car. Well, I heard you on Bands of Our Lives with the Musers this week. Great segment. And the Pink Floyd. You're big into the Pink Floyd. That got you into music, right?
Band that changed my life.
Yeah.
I put as Pink Floyd.
And you'd never heard of the Wizard of Oz thing, or you'd never done the Wizard of Oz bit.
Very odd that I haven't, but I have been a huge Pink Floyd fan for a long time. Not just the commercially popular things, but the old albums are really, really cool. And I've heard forever that if you start Dark Side of the Moon during the third lion roar in the credits of, the opening of Wizard of Oz, that somehow that matches up and creates a really cool experience. Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done it. But there's one better. Have you heard of the 2001 Space Odyssey Echoes?
Just got a email that said the third act.
Okay.
Explain it to me. What does this mean?
So Stanley Kubrick in his heyday was after Pink Floyd to do a soundtrack. I think it might have been maybe it was for 2001. And I think he wanted to use Adam Hart Mother, which is a 24-minute just bizarre suite. And whatever, they couldn't agree to it. And so they kind of had this like relationship where they never worked together. And Pink Floyd were big fans of Kubrick, even though they never worked together. So the final act of 2001, it's called the Jupiter sequence, syncs up absolutely perfectly to Pink Floyd's Echoes, which is a 26-minute track. I'll send you a link for sure when we're done here.
Someone's already done that on YouTube for
absolutely.
me?
It is perfect, and there's absolutely no question that it was done intentionally. And it's, if you can suffer through 26-minute Pink Floyd song, it's pretty cool. I'll send it to you.
I don't call that suffering.
No, I think it's great. It's great. You can, after you watch it, let me know what you think there.
Okay, yeah, I had that, and somebody's recently just sent me the YouTube of the Dark Side of the Moon thing too with Wizard of Oz. So
yeah, that's the first few minutes of that are pretty good, but you kind of really have to.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, it's a stretch a little bit. Well, we got a new segment here on the show called Rapid Fire. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions at you, Dan. So
now we do them quickly.
Yeah, we'll just whatever comes to the top of your head.
A mellow pace.
We go with more of a mellow pace. We don't need to get too terribly crazy. All right, Dan. If you were a Major League Baseball player, what's your walk-up music gonna be when you come to bat?
Probably All About That Bass.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know,
right.
Just something really weird. I always loved Chacarone.
I would go with Space People, the Gordon Keith favorite.
Okay.
Solid song. Who had the worst mustache, Hitler or Salvador Dali?
What was Dolly's like?
It was like a Raleigh fingers,
Like-
but super skinny, like spaghetti strings. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say that Hitler wasn't the worst at something, right?
Right.
But he did ruin that mustache.
Pretty much, you never see someone wearing that mustache unless they lost a bet.
Whereas before, it was very popular, from what I understand, right?
I mean, that's so I hear.
The Charlie Chaplin, as a matter of fact, had it,
Yeah.
and Hitler eradicated that mustache. So let's just say Hitler, because I'm on the perch that Hitler was bad. If anybody ever asks you, what does Dan think of Hitler? I want you to tell him he doesn't like that guy.
I support you in your stance. I think that's a pretty safe thing to assume. He's a pretty bad dude. All right, what's the greatest sports moment you have witnessed live, not on TV, but live in person?
The greatest sports moment live would have to be the I think it's 80. See, this will make it not the greatest sports moment, but 86 perhaps. But I was at a Browns-Jets double overtime playoff win for the Browns. This is the week before Browns-Broncos, the drive.
Interesting.
But the week before that was a double overtime game. How often do you have one of those?
I can't remember the last double overtime football game.
And how often do you – oh, and gosh, if I say that's the greatest moment, then that would really anger the Mavs fan who knows I was at their clinching victory there when they won the title in Miami.
Yeah, well, that would probably trump, Browns.
Yeah, that was a pretty wonderful moment. But as a little kid, as a young kid, I was pretty into the Browns, whereas I was really into the Mavs, but I was a man, an old man. So I feel like really the other one really meant more to me, I suppose.
I gotcha. All right. Well, next question in rapid fire is, which broadcaster is the biggest spare? All right. You got three choices here. Howie Long, Mike Bassick, or Lee Corso?
I love Mike Bassick, so I would not call him a spare.
Okay.
He used to intern for us.
I do.
He was actually our intern and went and got Chipotle and Eatsies, and he actually wanted to make the lunch run and all that kind of stuff. He's a great dude. I guess you could be a great dude in a spare.
You could.
I don't want to totally rule him out, but since we're friends, I will say not him. And I'm not that familiar with Howie Long.
We're having fun here, no?
So although you may charge me with personal bias, and you already knew I'd vote for Lee Corso, right?
Kind of baited you a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you're a master at that.
Touche, my man. Well played. All right, Dan.
I don't know what you mean.
In the biopic of your life, if there was a movie made about you, what actor do you want to play the role of Dan McDowell?
Probably Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno, okay. That's a solid. Is Lou Ferrigno still with us?
That's unknown. I don't think so.
Unknown.
He could be dead. The ticket has learned about the passing of Lou Ferrigno.
Well, if Lou Ferrigno, if he is dead, then a moment of silence for Lou Ferrigno. We believe he's still alive, though. So.
Oh, he's still alive? That's great.
He's CelebrityNetWorth.com has said that he's worth $12 million and alive and kicking at age 68. So,
wow,
he could double his net worth by playing you in a movie.
But you've just made me so happy that I was so sad hearing that he died, and now my day has changed.
It is a game changer. All right, final question from Rapid Fire.
This podcast brings fun.
We bring the fun to the people. Final rapid fire. Thai food or Mexican food?
Bro. That's Bodie, my dog. I love Mexican food. Why would you even give me that choice?
Well, I love Thai food. I'd go Thai over Mexican every day of the week.
You would really? Well, I guess we wouldn't fight. Although we would just have to.
We'd be fat because we'd each have more portions.
Or we would have to do like I've trained my kids that if I'm going out to pick up food, they know I'll stop at 2 different places.
Yeah, my family's learned that about me as well.
Which is terrible. It's tough being a nice guy, isn't it?
It is.
Walked all over.
Yeah, absolutely, especially by your family.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So,
can't wait till I leave them.
I know exactly right.
Going out for cigarettes. Never
So
comes back.
the final segment that we do this with everybody on the podcast, is here's where I came up with the idea. Is when you guys were on, actually the Musers were on dry dock, and I think Country Force was sitting in for them. And I live up by Jubb in Argyle, and I had gone in the post office, been in there for 20 minutes, come out, get in my car, and the first words I hear, I think it was, is Ty Walker's on Country Force, isn't he?
Hmm?
Anyway,
Maybe.
The first words I hear are, "What's the biggest monkey you could take in a fight?" That's the first time I turned on the radio for the day. So Dan, we've asked all of our guests on the show, because I think it's a good question. What's the biggest monkey that you think you could take in a fair fight? Talking Thunderdome style, man versus monkey. What's the biggest one you can take and win?
I don't think you could defeat any monkey in a fight.
I disagree. I think you can. I think you could take down a spider monkey.
Possibly. I mean, if your sheer weight were to crush it somehow, but otherwise they're very quick, right?
They are very.
They'll just like snatch, like reach into your neck and pull your jugular out.
I don't think they're quite that strong. I mean, spider monkey's like, little bitty guy, right?
You're just underestimating the monkey.
I mean,
I respect the monkey.
You respect the monkey? Okay. All right. Well, we will.
We'll find out someday, won't we?
That would be a great ticket stock bid, is man versus monkey. But
well, why not a Brahmas bid? You guys are really more apt to do something like that.
Listen, if PETA,
the Law Hawk out there.
Well, listen, I'm down for anything, and we haven't decided what we're going to do with the Law Hawk this year. We got maybe that's what he needs to do.
You know what? I'm going to change my greatest sporting event ever to the one where the Law Hawk jumped 5 feet in the air on a motorcycle. I can't remember. It was great. To be there live and to witness that, and just to be able to tell my grandkids about that.
It was a fun bit.
You have some awesome bits over there.
We have some awesome bits. And listen, if I'll have to look at the laws in the state of Texas and see what the man versus primate rules of engagement are. If that's possible, that could be a great intermission bit.
Rules. Who cares?
I
Shelley
mean,
Luther taught us that who cares about the rules, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm down.
Do that, you'll be running for office in 2 months.
That might be my next step in life. Now, maybe if we put boxing gloves on the monkey, that would kind of like even the playing field a little bit. So I'm going to look into this bit, and if it works, I'm going to call you, and you'll be front row for that.
I think you're lying to me, and you're not going to look into that bit.
I am definitely not lying to you. I would never lie to a friend of mine. I would never do that.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to look into it. And actually, I did look into man versus kangaroo, which in Texas you cannot do. I did look up that because we were
just in Texas, though. See,
well,
growing up, you always saw cartoons with kangaroos with boxing gloves, right? So
yeah, I mean, I would figure
they're always based in some fact somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we had at one point in time we had a tough guy around here that said he would fight a kangaroo, and turns out you can't do that. So, cruelty to animals. Even if the kangaroo is mutually consenting, it's not something you can do.
What if you had someone in a kangaroo suit?
Well, then now
someone in a monkey suit.
Now I tell you what. Now you got something. Now you got something for fight night.
What we're doing is brainstorming here.
Yeah, we're brainstorming, spitballing. Yeah. You need somebody in a monkey suit versus the Law Hawk at fight night. That's what you need to do.
I could get you a ferret.
A ferret?
He's from North Richland Hills.
Okay. I'm in. In.
That's what Jake is known as the ticket ferret.
The ticket ferret.
Yeah. Well, he eats out of the garbage can.
Yeah. Yeah, he can put down some pizza. That's one thing's for sure.
He can put down pizza. Do you think you could just pile up some pizza for him, like between periods, and he'll just go at it?
I think if Jake wanted to do
You're
a
up
pizza
for anything, right?
if
Brahmas.
he wanted to do a pizza eating contest against a competitive eater, maybe him and a friend versus a competitive eater, that would be good theater.
Well, I'm friends with Jake, so
You
maybe I'll
guys,
be that friend.
You guys think you could take down a large cheese pizza before some sort of competitive eater I roll in here?
I would love that. Like you get Joey Chestnut in.
I mean, he costs.
It's
And
Jake
again,
and Dan versus Joey Chestnut.
I've looked into Joey Chestnut. He does command a pretty penny for his services.
Really?
Yeah, but we can find somebody. There's plenty
Can
of.
you give me the price on that? $5,000, $10,000?
It's like $7,500 plus travel.
Wow.
You know.
So it does pay.
Plus food.
Plus
and that's
the
where
food.
you really get screwed in the deal.
Yeah. Wow. Joey Chestnut. Who would have thought?
But, you know, maybe we can find someone further down the leaderboard of competitive eaters, like in the 15 to 20 spot that'll, you know, maybe do it for free hockey tickets and some beer.
Yeah, maybe just bring in a big fat guy. Then it will look like he should be able to eat more.
I mean, I'm going to work on this. We're going to work on the Great Bad Radio Pizza Eating Challenge.
The ticket.
And we'll see. We'll see if you guys are up for it.
I think this is big. This could be the new era of Brahmas hockey.
I think so, especially if
right here.
somebody throws up on the ice. Because, you know, we were kind of secretly hoping the Law Hawk might crash, and that didn't work. So this next bit, somebody's got to spew.
We were all secretly hoping that.
I think all 2,000 people were hoping that, don't you?
But the fact that he didn't was also kind of good.
Yes. And, well, all's well that ended well.
But like if somebody bleeds on the ice, does that then freeze and now it's in there? Would Jake's pizza vomit like just be frozen into the ice?
Well, you have to come scrape it off the ice. You know, this is a COVID era. We can't leave just vomit and body fluids on the ice.
Then you could sell it.
Yeah, game used vomit.
Yeah.
You think your friends at Heritage Auctions might want a piece of that, right?
Sure.
Well, Dan, listen, I know you got to get to it. I appreciate your time. It's always great to talk to you. And, you know, we're going to work on some bits. And the door's open. You can come coach this team anytime you want this year.
Are you guys back?
Yeah, so we're
The ticket.
we're in the planning stages. The league's reworking the schedule. And, yeah, we're going to be back. We're going to play at least 50% capacity on fans. We don't really know how that's going to look yet, but we're forging ahead. And, you know, we're doing all the COVID testing protocols and all that fun stuff that we can make sure everybody's safe. And, yeah, we're going to be at it.
All right, good. These are unprecedented times, as you know, Chad.
As I know, yes, very much so. Well, Dan, thanks again, and let's talk soon. And thanks, buddy.
All right, I love you.
Love you too.
Sam, how about that crazy cat? Did you see that? Unbelievably unstable. I have not seen instability like that since probably my bachelor party.
We're going, girls.
Sam, this is not like Penn and Teller. Sam does actually talk. From time to time as necessary. There he is, Sam. Good to see you.
I don't want audio! I do want audio.
See how we do it? It's like a TV.
When does this go live?
Probably.
Or not live, but when do you air it?
Probably the end of the week. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of post production that goes on. Probably by the end of the week.